Good morning, hello, and how are you? Here's my good friend Curly to say howdy too.
Good morning, boys and girls. I'm surely glad to see so many buckaroo buddies tuned in on TV.
Hey, we'll play some games, have some fun. What a happy place!
When Harlow gets a great big fat pie smack dab in the face. So hello, hello, hello. Come and join us for the Stooges Show. Good to be back with you, old buddy.
Oh, it's over. I'm sorry.
Good to be back with you.
Show.
The four characters that I portrayed were very interesting, and they were all kind of different. Horsehoe Hal was the first one. I'm walking down the hall, and the program director says, "How tall are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm about 6'2". And he said, "Did you know that Cactus Jack is leaving to go to another station?" I said, "No, I didn't." "You're 6'3". "I think you'll fit the outfit." So that was my audition. I fit the Horsehoe Hal outfit. I love that story because it was no credit to me that I got that thing. Of course, we ran out of Western movies almost immediately, and so there was no question. There must have been, wherever the Popeye cartoons played in the United States, there was always a captain. So big production meeting. "What will we call you? You're not Horsehoe Hal anymore." So on Friday afternoon, I sign off as Horsehoe Hal, and on Monday, I sign on as Captain Hal. The kids didn't miss a beat. They didn't think anything about it. So, kids, welcome to the Popeye Show. Now, Captain Hal was probably one of the most restrained characters. Youngstown, Ohio, where I happened to be at that stage of my TV career, had a wonderful park, like Riverside Park was to Indianapolis, and you could go out there and get into all kinds of trouble and fun. But see, here's the key to these things. This is 1954. This is early television, but the station was very good about spending whatever it takes. So they would send a camera crew out without even blinking. It was owned by a newspaper. And interestingly, around the United States, newspapers were not allowed to own TV stations. In fact, in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Star lost out on owning a TV station because they were a newspaper. So it was very different. Anyhow, they were just great about sending Captain Hal out. And one of my favorite memories that most kids would be able to relate to if they're in the baby boomer age group, our biggest guest that we ever had was Sky King. Well, don't you know, he comes out and tries to do a little gymnastics, broke his finger. Well, you'll be interested in my coming to Indianapolis from Youngstown. Indianapolis is my home. I grew up here, went to school here, and Tech High School did more for me, I think, than anything I can ever remember. But in Youngstown, I was doing nothing but television, a little disc jockey work, and I came to Indianapolis to do disc jockey work. And I thought, oh, what happened to Horsehoe Hal and to Captain Hal? Didn't they see that in my audition tape? Well, finally, they decided that when a vacation came along, I could come aboard just for the vacation. And that was it. That was to be just 2 weeks, and you've helped out. And people immediately seemed to like Harlow. I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Harlow Hickenlooper and where we came up with that name and all. His character worked from 1960 to 1972, and boy, did I enjoy having the crazy fun we had. I was supposed to be the nephew of Hoosier Hank, and that's how I was originally introduced. The striped coat and the straw hat just came out of nowhere. He ran a general store, and they decided I would be a delivery boy. And I guess in earlier days, having a straw hat wouldn't have been unusual. Now, the striped coat, I don't think the delivery boy would have worn that, but they thought it played nicely in the setting. But what will we be called? Well, all of us started out in radio. I started out in 1951. Television, for me, didn't come along until 1953. And every time I would run across the name Senator Burke Hickenlooper of Iowa. Hickenlooper? Are they kidding? Well, what do we call me? Harold is my real name. Hal is my chosen stage name. Well, we can't call you Harold Hickenlooper. So Jerry Vance, who was the producer of the program at that time, said, let's see, Harlow. Hey, Harlow played. So I came up with a last name, and Jerry supplied that. Everybody in the production meeting approved of it, thought it was great, and we were off to the races from the 1960 to the 1972. There was almost an absence of 15 years before Grandpa Harlow came along. I want to tell you about Grandpa Harlow. He was probably my favorite character in the sense that the children I worked with were first grade, but mostly kindergarten down, and no reflection on the children who used to watch the Three Stooges, but the youngsters were so honest, they were so inquisitive, and so much fun to work with.